Hey guys, welcome to Web Dev Cloud. In this video, we will be going forward with PHP and we'll look at the loops available in PHP. So mainly there are three loops available in PHP and they are for loop, while loop and do while loop. There is another loop which is for each loop. We will look at that later. So in this video, let's start with loop. So loop is basically the thing which we can use when we have to perform iterative tasks such as print 1 to 100 in a single go. Then in those cases we can use loops. So let's check the for loop first. So for that we have to write for and then parenthesis and then the name of the variable, let's say I, and we have to initialize the variable here. Let's say I is equals to 1, then semicolon followed by the condition. We have to provide the condition until which the for loop will execute. Let's say $i less than 10, then semicolon. Then here at the last part of loop we need to provide increment or decrement of the variable. So here we are initializing $i as 1 and we are going till 10, so we have to increment the I variable in order to fulfill the condition. So here we'll write $i plus plus, then bracket. Here we will write the statement which we would like to execute until this loop runs. So here let's write echo hello world, then semicolon, and let's also put break tag here. So each time hello world will print into the next line. So what it will do, it will go from 1 to 10. So here it is less than 10, so total 9 times this loop will run and we will see hello world 9 times onto our browser. So let's check its output onto the browser. Here we can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 time hello world is printed onto the browser. So we don't need to write hello world 9 times into the code. Here, if we would like to check the value of I each time in the loop, so we can put $i in front of our hello world and see the value of I. So I starts from 1 and goes till 9. So let's check. So here we can see from 1 to 9 I goes, and then this condition will come into the picture. Let's say $i less than 10, so 9 less than 10, and then the loop will stop here. So this is how for loop works. Now let's check the reverse case where we'll go from 10 to 1. So what we will do is we'll start I from 10 and here we'll provide I greater than 1, and here we will decrease the value of I. So it will eventually reach to 1, and then when the condition becomes false, it automatically skips the loop. So let's check the output of this. It should be from 10 to 2 in reverse order because I greater than 1, so it will only go up to 2. So let's check. So here we can see, let me remove the hello world sentence. So here we can see, if we want to go till 1, then we can simply modify and write 0 here. Then we can see the output from 10 to 1 is being printed. The next loop is while loop. So let me just remove this previous code. So the while loop can be write like this, while, and into the bracket we just have to provide the condition. Let's say $i less than 10 and then the bracket. So here the initialization of variable will come before the while loop starts. So here I can initialize like $i is equal to 0, and the increment or decrement part comes within this loop, $i plus plus. So this is the basic syntax of while loop. So whatever statement we want to iterate through the loop, we can write inside this while loop here. So let me just write echo and then the value of I is, and then concat $i. So this is how while loop will work. Remember here that each and every loop works the same way, and the difference is only in the syntax of the loop. So let's check the output. So let's see what it will do. So here we are initializing $i to 0, then in while loop we put the condition like if $i is less than 10, then only enters this loop. So first the condition becomes true because $i is 0 and which is less than 10, then it will come into the loop and print this statement. Then here we are doing increment of I by 1. This $i plus plus means I is equal to I plus 1. So $i's value will be 1. So again it will check the condition. If 1 is less than 10, so yes, again the condition will become true. So till the condition becomes true, it will come into the loop, and when the condition becomes false, it will exit the loop. So the output of this, let's see into the browser. Oops, let me just put the break tag. In order to have the new line. Okay, so from 0 to 9 it is printing. Similar way it was printing in the for loop. Here also we can play it around with. So we can start from 10. Here we can reverse the condition. Let's say $i should greater than 1, and here we'll use I minus minus, and it will go from 10 to 2. Let's say, let me make it 0 so it can go from 10 to 1. So the starting point is 10 and it will end at 1. So the last loop is do while loop, which is little different than for loop and while loop. So let me first remove this while loop. So this is how we can write do while loop. First we will have to write do, and then at the end we have to write while, and then in while we have to provide the condition. Let's say $i greater than 0, and inside the do we have to write the condition. Let's say I minus minus, because we are going from 10 to 0, so we have to decrease the value of I. So here it is displaying me some error because I am missing the semicolon, and here we can write our statement. So the difference between while and do while loop is do while loop will at least execute once. So what it will do is, here we are initializing the variable I to 10, then here it is not checking for the condition, it will directly enter into the loop and execute the statement. Then it will decrease the value of I and then it will check the condition. So let's say, let me just put $i to 0. So at first the condition will not become true because 0 cannot be greater than 0. Still it will enter into the loop and print the statement at least once. Let's say this is statement of do while loop and semicolon. So here my variable is 0 and the condition is not satisfied. Still it will enter into the do while loop and print the statement, because it is checking the condition at the end of the loop and not while starting the loop like it was doing in while loop. So let's check. This is statement of do while loop. So do while loop is used in the cases where you have to perform the operation at least once. So let's just check the difference between do while loop and while loop together. So this is do while loop. Let me just make it more clear. So this is do while loop. Here the variable is 0 and the condition is not true, because $i is 0 and 0 cannot be greater than 0. So here this condition is false. Now similar way, let me take one more variable. Let's say $j is equal to 0, and I am writing the same condition in the while loop. So here I will write $j greater than 0 and I will write the same statement inside the while loop. So what will happen is, in the do while loop the condition becomes false at first. Still it will execute the statement. So this statement inside the do while loop will be printed, but the statement within this while loop will not be printed, because here the condition is checked at the entry point and the condition becomes false at entry point. So it will not enter into this loop, because 0 greater than 0 is not true at this entry point, and hence it will not come into the while loop and it will not execute anything written within the while loop. But it is not case in the do while loop. Do while loop will allow control to enter into this loop without taking care of the condition. So first it will print the statement, it will perform the decrement of I variable, then it will check the condition. So the condition is false, and then it will skip this whole loop. So while loop perform the operation at least once, no matter what the condition's status is. So let's check the output of this. The output of this will still remain the same, because our while loop is not allowing the control to enter into this while loop. But here if I make some change, let's say $j is equal to 1. So at first condition will become true because 1 is greater than 0, and then this statement will execute. Then a decrement will be performed over I variable. So I variable will become, sorry, here I need to write j. So j variable will become 0. Then again it will go up. So now the condition will become false. So 0 cannot be greater than 0, and then it will skip the loop. So let me just put the BR here as well. So this is the statement of do while loop, this is the statement of while loop. So if I do the same with do while loop, then also it will only print this statement once, because here $i is 1. It will come to the loop and it will print this statement. It will decrease the I variable and I variable will become 0. So 0 cannot be greater than 0. So condition will become false, and then it will exit the loop. So in this case as well, this statement will be printed only once. So let's check. See, this statement is also printed once. Now since we know how loop works, let's check some of the scenarios where we can use loops. So let me just remove this do while loop and let's continue with while loop for now. We can use any loop as per our requirement. So we can use while loop for now. Let's say I would like to print the table of, let's say, 5 using this loop. So what I will do is, let me check one variable. Let's say table is equal to 5. So what I will do is, I will write it like, I will start from 1 and I will go till 10. So to go till 10, I will write $j less than 11, so it can reach to up to 10. And then here I need to do increment because I have to go from 1 to 10, so I have to increase the value of j. And here what I will do is, I will write the statement of table. Let's say I want to print the table of 5. So here what I will write is table, then the symbol of multiplication, which is x, or let's say star, then the value of j, which will iterate from 1 to 10, then equals to, and here what I need to do is, I have to perform the, actually here I have to perform that operation of multiplication. So let me just delete it. So equals to, here I need to concat that operation, so that here it will be dollar table into $j. Remember that here I am only printing this thing, and here I am actually perform this multiplication operation. So what it will be displays here, 5 into 1 is equals to 5. Then in the next iteration it will be like 5 into 2, because the table variable will remain the same throughout the iteration, and the value of $j will keep changing throughout the iteration. So 5 into 2, and then it will multiply this two operands. So 5 into 2, and here it will 10 be printed. Let me just remove this, or we can keep it, no worries, it will not print the parenthesis anyway into the browser. So let me also put the break tag in order to have this in new line, and let's check the output. So this is how we can print the table of any number using the loop, and it can go up to any number. Here we are printing till 10, but we can go till 15. Let me just put 16 here, so it can go till 15. It can go till 15. We can also change the table from 5 to, let's say, 99, and it will still perform the operation. So this is how we can use, this is the one simple case. Another case can be, we can also use loop within the loop. Let's see how we can use that. So here is the first variable is j. Let me just first make it 5, and then let me make it 11. So let's see how we can write nested loop. So let us just take for loop in this case. So let me just remove everything. So In order to write for loop, first we need to initialize the variable. Let's say I is equal to 1, and let's take I less than 11, and then $i plus plus. So this is our outer loop, and then we can write another loop within this outer loop, and then in the inner for loop we can use variable as j is equals to 0, $j less than 11, $j plus plus. So here I am printing echo $i dot $j. Let me just put one space between these two variable and put the break tag as well. So what it will do is it will start from outer loop, and then it will directly come to the inner loop. Here value of $i is 1, and the value of $j, let me make it 1 as well. So first it will print 1, 1, then it will start executing the inner loop first before it reach to the outer loop. So it will print 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, because it is executing the inner loop. So after printing 1 and 10, it will again go to the outer loop and it will start from 2, and then so on. It will print variable I and j. So let's just check the output of this into the browser. So it will start from 1, 1. The left side variable is I and the right side is j. So it will print 1 to 10, then it will start from 2 and it will go till 10, then it will start from 3 and again go till 10, and so on. It will reach 10, so I becomes 10, and then here I and j both will become 10. So here we can do some interesting operation. Let's say I want to print the table of from 1 to 10 in a single go without doing anything. So what I can do is, here I can write it like $i into $j, $i into $j is equals to, and here I am performing the same operation that we just did before, $i into $j. So 1, 1, and then multiplication, 1, 2, and then multiplication, and then it will do the same for 10 iteration for j, and then it will do the same for I as well. So let's check. So let me just start from the beginning. 1, 1, 1, and here is the table of 1. Here below that the table of 2. Let me just make it separate using some logic. I can write it like the table of, and here I can write, let me make it, put in the double quote so I can use the variable's value directly, $i semicolon, and here I can separate the line. Above and below. So let's check. the table of 1, but it is not starting from the next line, so here I need to put BR as well. So this is the table of 1 from 1 to 10. This is the table of 2 from 1 to 10. This is table of 3 from 1 to 10, and so on. And at last it is printing the table of 10 from 1 to 10. So this is how we can play around with the loop. Remember, here we can also write some condition. Let's say I only want to print the table of odd number between 1 to 10, so I can put the condition like if I module 2 is not equal to 0. This module is for the remainder. So if $I module 2 is not equal to 0, then the number will become odd number, and then it will only print the table of odd number. So I think we are good here. Let's just check. So here we can see the table of 1 is being printed, then the table of 2 is not there because 2 is even number and the condition of even number is not being satisfied in our case. Then it is starting for 3, then 4 is again an even number, so it is skipping, and it is taking 5, then 7, then 9, and this is how we can put the condition with the loop. So this is it for the loop inside the PHP. You can do some more experiment with the loop and condition and etc. So we'll move forward with the PHP in next video. Till then, have a nice time.